Hello and welcome to another Top Agent Nation Commercial Wednesdays. As you can see, it's been a little hiatus and we know the holidays are coming up, but now we're going to add a new way of training with Top Agent Nation Commercial Wednesdays, where every other week we are going to teach commercial real estate into a specialty and what does it take to be a commercial real estate expert. On the other weeks, we are going to go into services and different parts of commercial real estate, whether it's property management, capital markets, cost segregation, other ways to make yourself successful. But we all know the core of it is the education. And we're very excited to have Michael Simpson from NCREA here, but also Blair Gilbert, who's SIOR, and also running our mentorship program that we're going to help new agents learn this business, how to plug into this business with other resources to make you the best commercial agents you can be. There are many different thoughts and ways of doing commercial real estate. I always say I came from Marcus and Millichap. Blair may think about M&M. I know, Michael, you train a little nicer from the background that you had, but it all comes down to the right fit of the education style you want, to the mentor that you need and want, or coach, because sometimes the mentor may not be in your geographic area, but most likely in your product specialty. Then we go into what's next. One thing that when I was teaching many commercial real estate, I always say the book knowledge is crucial and important because the way you speak to commercial agents, we know. If you speak incorrectly, we know if you're not commercial or not. The next one is with all the technology that is around now, you need to understand the tech, especially with AI and social media. And hello, just give a shout out to Dana. Social media is so important, right? You're building your brand, you're building your business. I was there when commercial real estate, you don't put your face on a card. You don't talk about yourself. You don't promote yourself. We were the best kept secret, right? And we would not want to share, tell anyone. We were almost thieves in the night. We just go around getting the deals done. And by the time you figured it out, the deal was closed. And the other part is the soft skills. People do forget that, yes, you need the book knowledge, understand the basics. You do need how you run the technology nowadays, especially with social media and wow, AI, to the soft skills of how do you interact with people? How do you negotiate? How do you put these pieces together? And with Blair here, getting a great mentor. Mentorship is one of the keys of being successful, but finding the right fit with the right mentor that aligns with you, that really wants you to be successful in this industry. So I am really, really excited plugging in many coaches and speakers, mentors, and everyone else to really get this program off and running, and not just domestic, but globally. We had people in Europe that I was talking to, Middle East this morning, in Dubai. We also have people in Latin America, Spanish speaking. We are putting a course together so the world can learn commercial real estate, understand the technology, understand and how to apply the soft skills and negotiation skills, and really finding global mentors that can really help you uplift your business. So without further ado, love to introduce our guest today. And first I'll introduce Michael Simpson. Michael, if those that know with his program from NCREA, love Michael to kind of share your background and how did you get into commercial real estate?
Sure. Thanks, Jim. Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you all. Um, I was a residential real estate agent and I was doing about 100 deals a year out of Long Beach, California, when one of my residential clients said to me, "Hey, can you help me do this commercial deal?" And so I said what most people say, which is sure. And, I kind of struggled with that deal because I didn't know what I was doing, right? I was using the comparable approach to try to determine value. I just was looking at it as a residential agent. And I tried to get some help from commercial agents in Long Beach, and they all knew who I was because I was doing 100 deals a year in residential, and they didn't want to help me. They said, "Hey, you just refer it to us. We'll do the commercial. You stay over there and you do the residential. You can't do both." And I'm sure you guys have heard that. I see a couple of you nodding your heads. And I wanted to learn. I wanted to make the money, and so I decided to go ahead and fumble my way through that deal, and I probably shouldn't have done that, but I struggled through that first deal, but I was able to get it closed, and I really fell in love with commercial real estate. And then I started taking some training and some classes, and that's how I got into the commercial side. You're on mute, Jim.
I know Blair started way back because he, if you could tell SIOR, what does that mean? Also, I'm sure he's kind of the old school way, but Blair, can you share the way you started in commercial real estate, but very experienced in SIOR, if you could explain what that means too, because that is a great designation.
I was taking real estate courses at the University of Maryland in College Park. And one of my instructors happened to be a broker owner of a large firm in Silver Spring, Maryland. Apparently, I did pretty well in the course because he asked me to come to work with him. And the first thing that I was able to work on was a two-door. And I couldn't imagine a house with just two doors. It took me a while to realize that that wasn't what two-door stood for. And I said, that's enough of this. So I need to move something more comfortable with me. And from that point forward, I was in commercial real estate, and I've been in commercial real estate for over 40 years. I am no longer in Maryland, but I'm in suburban Philadelphia, and primarily focus on industrial and retail development. And I also am privileged to be the chair of the training organization with Renaissance Global, and assigning mentors and mentees, which is a kind of a tricky task. Not only are they not in the same geography, but I try and make sure that they have the same goals and objectives, and the asset classes match up. So that's a little bit of background on me. Thank you, Jim.
Oh, quick thing. Can you share what SIOR means? Because I think for those that are new, everyone sees where it's CCIM, SIOR, CRE, ULI, SIOR means something. So if you don't mind sharing that too.
Certainly. SIOR stands for the Society of Industrial and Office Realtors. That organization started actually here in the Philadelphia area many years ago. It started as just SOR, Society of Office Realtors, transferred into the industrial world, and there are only 4,000 of us in the entire world. It is reported to be, and I can attest that it is, one of the preeminent designations in real estate, period, end of statement. It is a earned designation. You have to do significant volume over a repeated period of time. It depends upon what part of the country you're on, but basically the average is that you have to net $500,000 in commission 2 out of 3 consecutive years. And in addition to the performance part of it, it's pretty in-depth on training as well. And like I said, there's just over 4,000 of us worldwide.
Thank you, Blair. And this is where we want to share with your commercial real estate journey by learning it, earning it, networking with different trade groups, specialty groups to really plug into up your game. And this is where we created Renaissance also, is a global network with a tremendous amount of partners and companies and businesses. So everyone can plug in to collaborate, connect, get a mentor, refer businesses, residential, commercial, developers, finance, capital markets. I mean, there is a tremendous amount that all of us collectively that have been around for decades wants to work with each other, because commercial is a very small world. Everyone is friends with each other. So from the basics of learning this business, we're actually giving you opportunities to learn it, to plug in, to understand the skill sets, to plug into the technology. And if, like everyone said before, if we had to do this all over again, how would we do it? Well, what we're going to teach and share with everyone is the Renaissance way of doing it. And now, Michael, if you don't mind, just sharing with people a little bit about commercial real estate. And we hope that everyone that does not know commercial invite some guests. And I learned this from NAR. 1/3 are considered resi-mercial, doing some sort of commercial, and that is a large number. As we all know, they may or may not have had formal education, the right mentors, and the right organization or groups to plug in. I know everyone does their best, but what we're trying to do is, many of us are leaders from so many of these trade groups, is to all work together to build one place that everyone can network, share data, share information, and hopefully be a success. But I know, Michael, you've trained many people with NCRA, so if you don't mind just sharing a little bit about commercial real estate to everyone.
Sure. Yeah. I've got a slide that I'll go through with you guys real quick, and it's a lot of slides. I could spend an hour on it, maybe two, but I'm going to do it in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, and just kind of skim through some of the, important things that we should be aware of. It sure is good to see everybody. Speaking of networking and everyone knows everybody, nice to see you, Luz. I haven't seen you in a while. And Max, Scott, April, it's been a minute. Master. Dana, I met you the other day. By the way, if you guys are in North Carolina, South Carolina, hopefully you're going to Aria tonight, their holiday party. I wanted to ask Jim. Jim's past president of Aria, so I need to kind of ask you who you know there. I'm trying to connect with people now that I'm relocated here and getting to know people. So let me know who I should go introduce myself to there, if you would, if you know anybody there.
Happy
Sure
to.
you do.
Yes.
So anyway, you guys come, let's get together tonight at the holiday party if you're around. But here is the slideshow. So just real quick, we'll kind of go through this together. Why commercial real estate is the title of this. First, there's Blair. I kind of threw that together this morning, Blair, so I'm sorry if it's kind of blurry there. And myself, like I said, I started residential real estate. What happened was I took the training, and the instructor called me and asked me to come over and help him build a commercial division at Remax in the 90s. So I was involved in helping him build a commercial division. Then I moved to Keller Williams. I owned a franchise there in Long Beach, and was really involved in setting up commercial divisions throughout the nation at KW there. And we were doing these training events on how to get into commercial real estate for a long time, for years. Why commercial? Bigger deals, bigger commissions, bigger profits. It's really not that much more challenging to do a commercial deal than it is residential, but the commissions can certainly be much larger. Uh, Clients are less emotional, more logical. Those residential clients can be very emotional. They make their decisions based on kids and babies and divorces and job transfers, and all that is highly emotional. Where commercial is much more numbers based, more logical. Really no evenings or weekends for the most part has been my experience with this. Sure, there's some clients who like to work a little bit on the weekends or reach out and be around, but for the most part, they just don't. They're not around on the evenings or weekends. No driving the clients around like buyers in residential. You put them in your car and you drive them around. I always had a buyer's agent. I never did that. And commercial, no one's ever asked to do it, and they don't want to do that. Typically, they want to go look on their own, and when they want more information, then they'll get back to you. As you guys know, they're more sophisticated usually. They know what they need to get a loan. They know what the process is. They're more able buyers and sellers, and less hand holding involved in commercial real estate. Huge cash flows, more stable, less risk. Typically, if you have a big uh, um, 100 unit property, for example, or a 100 unit uh, shopping center or a 100 unit whatever, and you have one vacancy, you have a 1% vacancy. If you have a house and you have one vacancy, you have a 100% vacancy. So that's what I mean by less risk. Investors tend to buy and sell more frequently. They buy, they sell, they're always on the market, right? So I talk about this all the time. Residential, they buy, they sell maybe 5 to 7 years. And investors are constantly looking to do deals. So you don't need a whole lot of investors, is the point there. You need maybe one or two or three, and you're going to be in pretty good shape as long as you do a good job for them. It doesn't take a whole lot more effort to buy, like I said before, than houses. Economies of scale. If getting back to the 100 units, if I have a 100 units, I can have one contractor, one roofer, one plumber. If I have 100 doors, 100 houses, I have to have multiple contractors, and so I don't have the economies of scale. Lenders allow creative financing in commercial real estate versus residential. You create appreciation through the operations, through the net operating income, and forcing the NOI up through what's called forced appreciation, and you're not at the mercy of the market. The lender qualifies the property, not the buyer, right? That's the asset, the cash flow of the buyer. So I put this together, years ago, just some steps to kind of look at if we're looking at getting into commercial real estate. I see we have some veterans here today in the room, so you guys, some of you guys know all this, but for those who are looking to get in, we want to understand the language first, really, because like James said, if you run into an investor or another broker, they're going to know. They're going to know if you don't know what you're talking about, right? So you got to speak the talk, speak the language. And then you need to know the numbers. But if you don't speak the language, you're not going to be able to sit down with them and get in front of them to show them the numbers. So you got to kind of follow the order and obviously need to know the numbers. You need to know the market. Investors know their market, they know their product type. And so they're going to eat you alive if you don't understand what's going on in the market. And then you got to get some help. You got to have a mentor, a coach, somebody who's looking over your shoulders. I've always been a fan of coaches all my life. In fact, I have a coach to this day, and then understand some of the tools that we use in the commercial space. So I won't go deep on this because I don't have time, but I'm just going to skim. Here's some examples of language that we use: upside potential, value play versus something that's vanilla, investing horizontally versus vertically. Those are some examples of language that we use when we approach a commercial broker. Let's say I have a listing. They have a listing. I want the information on their listing. What do I ask them for? Well, we call, we text, we email, we ask them for a setup, marketing package, OM, right? Offering memorandum. Those are some things that they're expecting us to say when we approach them. So that's the language part. How do you want me to write it up? CAR, AIR, LOI, right? So we're using language to demonstrate our knowledge. We want to know the numbers. So your numbers are going to look like this with setup sheets and setup packages. There's three types of cash flow. Cash flows can be positive, negative, or neutral. The in commercial real estate, the value is determined by the income. So the cash flow is everything, right? Usually at acquisition, it's a negative cash flow typically because we're putting money in and closing costs. And then as we hold it, hopefully the asset becomes neutral and is no longer negative. And then when we sell upon reversion, hopefully the cash flow is a positive cash flow, unless it's some sort of short sale or REO. Four ways to determine value. You want to make sure you're familiar with this: the comparable approach, capital asset approach, cost approach, income approach. Most of the time, we're going to use the income approach in commercial real estate to determine the value. There's times when we'll use the comparable approach or maybe even cost per square foot approach, but for the most part, we're going to use that income approach. This spreadsheet here, current rents, market rents, seller carry, the average commercial agent is going to be able to knock that out on a napkin in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So this is where you need to be. And if you're not at this level, then you need to get there, right? Then we need to know the market, get some help. We need to understand how to protect our commission. A lot of the deals are done off market. So we use confidentiality agreements and non-circumvent, non-disclosure, NCNDA type agreements, NDAs, right? We'll use these type of agreements. So you need to understand how to do that and protect your commission, how to use these letters of intent. The product types, these are the big four: office, industrial, retail, multifamily. There's also hospitality, but these are really the big four out there. Industrial, different types of industrial that you're looking at there. Retail, there's different types of retail. Office, there's different types of office. There's nets, understanding the different nets. There's lots of avenues in commercial real estate and lots of different directions that we can go. There's lots of specialties, lots of niches. This is why you'll see a lot of commercial agents partner up on deals, because one is a real specialist where one might have the relationship with the client. So I like to talk about the different nets. Not a lot of people really understand the different nets that are out there. So I'll cover this real quick. A single net is the tenant's paying taxes and rent. A double net, the tenant's paying taxes, insurance, and rent. Triple net, the tenant's paying taxes, insurance, and maintenance, TIM, and rent. And then an absolute triple net is where the tenant's paying everything, including the plumbing, the heating, the electrical, central air and vac, and the roof, right? And so the difference between a triple net and an absolute triple net is huge, huge, huge difference that's not really understood in the industry. Different types of office buildings that are out there, different classes of office buildings, different classes of apartments are out there. And you have investors that will use language that really falls in line with the type of apartment or property that they're looking at. So I like to ask an investor, are you looking for something with cash flow, appreciation, or middle of the road? And then I'll kind of show them something like this so they get it, so I can get a visual of what they're really looking for. So Class A is there, I'm looking for more like market appreciation, tax shelters. Class B, I'm looking for something that needs just a little bit of work, no real major rehab. Class C, I'm looking for something that is going to require a little more work, maybe some forced appreciation. And then Class D is, these bad, dangerous neighborhoods. You have international commercial real estate opportunities. Jim is the master with that. You can learn so much from him on international commercial real estate. You have due diligence that needs to be done at super high levels when we're working with commercial types of transactions. And then lastly, here, as we move towards the end of this, we want to understand the tools that we use and when we need them and why we need them, how much they are. I hear a lot of times agents will go buy stuff, subscribe to things, and I'm like, you really didn't need to do that. They kind of spent money that they didn't need to do. So understanding the tools that are out there is real important as well. And then getting some help, right? Having somebody that's looking over your shoulder and helping you with the transaction. There's three different types of returns out there. Do you understand the different types of returns? Before tax, after tax, and internal rate of return. They all mean a little bit different things. Do you understand the benefits of owning real estate? People understand appreciation, but that's not the only benefit. And we don't always have appreciation, right? How many of you were around in 2008? Remember what that was like? Oh my goodness. We have stories. But we want to talk about all the benefits of owning real estate so people really understand, especially if they're comparing these investment vehicles with other investment vehicles. If you have a stockbroker in a family, for example, they're pulling that investor saying, or husband or wife or whomever, to invest in the stock market, right? Because that's what they know. So can you have an argument about, I shouldn't say an argument, a debate? Can you have a conversation about the benefits of owning real estate with somebody? Should be able to do that. So that's about it. I wanted it to be a real quick overview. So I'm not really teaching you a whole lot there, but wanted to just kind of give you a quick overview of the benefits of benefits of commercial real estate and some of the differences.
Michael, thank you for that little teaser. And as I told people, we will continue this education and module so people can bring friends, learn, especially if you're a more senior broker. I hope to train the trainers to help everyone learn this business much better, to train other people and evolve about plugging into technology, especially a referral system and plugging into services. And I'll just tell you this, you're right, Michael, with all these tools, I'm also on the RPR board, for the realtors property resources, free with your NAR membership. So most people don't know that, but in the RPR, there are a tremendous amount of tools for agents, because we know if you're going to make the jump into commercial real estate, you can, if you're independent, spend $2,000 or $3,000 a month to have the commercial real estate tools, unless you join a large group or organization that gets discounts. But I will share for those that are doing residential and you are a NAR realtor member about what RPR can do. So since I am on the board, I can get people to speak and share all the crazy and great things people are doing, right? So it is very exciting as you progress from learning to really earning and how to do this business, and you do need tech. I would just say if you don't have the tech and the data to run comps, big trouble. So it is very important to understand everything that's there. But also, one of the biggest thing where I gave Blair a very tough job, but we want to give people mentors. So whether you're at a certain company, another company, reach out to Blair because we are going to start matching people up all around the world and in the U.S. and North America about learning the mentorship. How do you find the mentor? Who is the right mentor? So Blair, if you don't mind, because I know you actually, from your vast experience, also ran some companies, some commercial real estate companies, some brokerage companies, and managed and handled all of this. But I also believe finding the right mentor, the right fit is key to your success. Some people can brute force because they love this business, they want to do this business, they do it. But I would just always go back to data, right? The right coaching, the right mentor, the right systems matters. So Blair, if you don't mind sharing as you're scaling and running Renaissance on this, what do you look for, or what should an agent look for to find the right mentor to fit to really increase their success?
Michael did an excellent job of covering the technical side of commercial real estate. The human side is equally, if not as important or more important. And as I kind of mentioned a few minutes ago, what I am really charged with doing is making sure that people have this similar chemistry, that they feel the same, their thoughts are the same. It's so important. And when somebody comes to me, and I just went through a situation, an individual came to me who is very skilled in small multifamily transactions, things of probably 10 units or smaller, and really wanted to talk to me about me doing mentoring. And I said to him, I said, I'd love to. I'm very impressed with your background. You've got a lot of great tools, but I am not the person that can do you justice. And I ended up pairing him with one of our mentors that is probably one of the most effective and most successful multifamily brokers in the industry. And I know that it's going to become a very good relationship between the two of them. The younger fella is going to have a broker that he's working with, that their personalities match, their goals match, everything just is in sync. And that is just so critical. And I like to think that I have the skill to be able to evaluate not only the person that's looking for a mentor, but the mentors as well. And to be able to evaluate them and make those connections so that everybody ends up in a win-win situation. That's really what it's all about. There's so many things that go into successful commercial transactions. But if you're not working with somebody that you're in sync with, you're fighting not only the transaction, but you're fighting your colleague, and it just doesn't work. So that's the biggest thing that I see being needed.
Thank you, Blair. And one of the things that I always know watching this, because I see a friend, Seth Poland here, he was at Marcus when I was just a new guy, learning that business. So there is the extreme from Marcus and Millichap to there is the I'm doing residential, but I want to do commercial because people that are especially luxury and global come across international commercial deals or they need commercial. And the stats with NAR already shows 1/3 are considered resi-mercial, and that is a lot of deals. So I do know that there is an opportunity where we educate, train, teach, share the tools of how you can work in this environment, whether it's RPR or you do want to start purchasing, as Michael showed, Crexi, CoStar, RealNext, Build Out. There's just a tremendous amount of tools and specialty, whether you're transactional, whether you're leasing, whether you're business brokerage, right? Whether you're capital markets, there are a myriad of different services and tools. And the great thing is, I always say in commercial, we're non-RESPA, right? We will follow laws and rules. A lot of things are not brokerage commissions, they're fees, right? And we always say, listen to your broker of record to know how you can get paid, right? You never want to do something that is just out of bounds, right? Or get you in trouble. So I want to add that disclaimer. Talk to a lawyer or talk to your broker of record, right, to clear. But this is what we're trying to do at Renaissance with this global network, is to help people learn this business of commercial real estate. For those that are senior, train the trainer to be trainers. Also, new agents that want to learn or upgrade their skills to a point where you can send and refer businesses back and forth. And like I said, in commercial real estate, most things are non-RESPA, they're fee versus commission, that you can then, like I said, talk to your lawyer, talk to the broker of record to see how you can plug in and get paid. And there are so many opportunities in commercial now as the world's getting smaller. I was just on a global call and a call to Dubai, and people are saying, I need to move this, I need to transfer this, I should create an LLC, right? Not to pay taxes in Dubai, or your business is registered there. Or in the UK, everything is a little different. They're working on ESG. They're doing what is it? Renewable, right? So it is interesting how everything works globally, but everyone needs a network, a place to plug in to go global. You should always focus on your specialty and where you're at, but then this gives you an opportunity. You don't lose business. Blair or Michael, I'd like to kind of open this up to both of you at adding any of your thoughts and comments on this overall initiative that we're going to be doing and helping many other organizations run their commercial, especially on the education training and also the mentorship as we grow globally. But I'd love to share and then open it up to the audience. Blair or Michael?
Yeah, as we're sitting here talking, it is so important to work with somebody that knows how to prospect. And you can know all of the formulas in the world and be able to do them in your head, in your sleep. But if you don't have the prospect there to do it with, it's useless. That's a whole different skill set. And you need to make sure that any mentor that you're going to work with can exhibit to you that they are successful in prospecting. There's so many different ways to prospect, and not every way fits each individual. Some people can do phone calls 24 hours a day and never burn out, and they can be successful that way. Other people can't. They need to be face to face with people. They need to go down the street and knock on doors. Those are all different skill sets that you have to understand and know that the person that you're working with can teach you and get you comfortable with those. And it's possible, and most probable that you will learn some new ways of doing prospecting that you didn't realize that existed before. But again, if you can't get a prospective client in front of you, everything else is useless.
Thank you, Blair. And Michael, I know you've trained and mentored and coached. What's your advice about
Yeah.
prospecting and getting clients in business?
Yeah. So, first of all, there's a mentor. If I have a deal, um, it's a good deal, a good client that's motivated and numbers make sense and everything. Mentors are everywhere, ready to go with me, right? So it's easier to find a mentor if I have a deal and we just need to like help do that deal. The harder part is finding somebody to hold my hand and teach me along the way, right? And so that's where it gets a little more challenging. And then you want to make sure, like if I approach Blair's been around for a long time. Blair gets referrals right and left, so he probably doesn't need to lead generate that much these days, right? Uh, so the question for somebody like Blair would be, are you going to be able to teach me how to do it today? And are you going to be interested in teaching me how to lead gen today? So those are
Hi.
conversations we need to have. We need to put Trisha on mute there. Um, but those are conversations we need to have. You almost need to interview that mentor right along with them interviewing you. But yeah, if the question is lead generation important today? Unless I'm a Blair or a Max, you guys have been around for a long time, or James, you don't need to lead generate that much anymore, would be my guess. But if I'm newer, past 5, 7 years, 10 years, I'm going to I better lead generator. I'm not going to make it. Period. End of story. You have to lead generate right now because the market's tough. It's not an easy fall on your plate type of market like it was 5 years ago. So you either do it and you get really good at those things that I was talking about there, scripts, scheduling, having a P&L, treating your business like a business. I talk about these things all the time because agents don't do this. They don't have P&Ls. It's like, why would you not have a P&L? They don't have a schedule for the most part. It's like, why are you not operating with a schedule? Right? It's comical to me. I called an agent the other day and their voicemail was full. It's like, what are you doing? I mean, it's like I can't even believe that when I get that anymore. Why would you be in the real estate industry and have a voicemail that's full? What? So, it's just some basics fundamentals that you have to do in today's environment. The good news is that, when the markets shift, like it has, it's kind of a shifted market. I'm sure we could all agree with that right now, pretty much across the board. The good news, though, is when we do these basic fundamentals and we operate like a real business owner, when the market comes back strong and becomes a really great market again, it just propels you and your business just explodes. So that's the good news is you got to dig in now and buckle up and follow some disciplines. And it may not be all that fun, along the way because it hurts a little bit. I get it. I'm with you on the pain. Uh, but there's daylight, by doing that. And the rewards will be right around the corner for you. So those would be my thoughts and comments on the importance of lead generating today.
Thank you. I want to give Dana Flanagan a shout out too. She is a legendary instructor, leader, coach. I would say celebrity too. Dana, if you don't mind, giving your background, sharing a little bit about you, but answering the questions like since you are really strong in residential coaching and training and really around the world speaking to everyone, first introduce yourself and what you do, and then what would you do with commercial, deals and opportunities. So go ahead, Dana.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. So my name is Dana. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, or just outside Charlotte on Lake Norman. So I think I'm near Michael there. And I was in residential real estate for over 23 years. I built several teams in several states. I was licensed in 4 states. Currently, I'm only licensed in 2 now. And as my career grew, I got like, what's next for me, right? So I went down to South Florida. I was originally from Connecticut, and I built a team down there. And I started meeting high net worth individuals that had family offices. And as I worked my way into that sector, I found that there was a gap for a real estate advisor in a family office. So I happened to become friends with this person that ran a family office. And I said, hey, how come you have all these in-house people, but you don't have a real estate advisor? And that's half of what you do. He's like, well, I don't understand how you would help me outside of Florida. And so a little light bulb went off, and I created a white glove service concierge for family offices and high net worth individuals worldwide. And so that put me in a lot of different rooms. It got me a lot of amazing experiences. It got me a lot of connections and friendships and business dealings. I also have served I have a little bit of a hotel background prior to real estate. And so a lot of resorts and developments were asking me to come down for my marketing and expertise for their developments in the Caribbean, in Mexico, where I acted as sort of a sales office between the US and wherever their resort was located. During that time, I had people asking me about multifamilies and commercial real estate. And that wasn't really, as Michael said, like people can tell when you don't know what you're talking about. I'm a connector in that space. I wasn't like the person that was going to underwrite the deal, right? So I made the connections for people, and then everybody started asking me for funding. So I was like, wow, I really should know what I'm talking about with this. So I taught myself private funding, and I'm a partner at a venture capital firm as well. So I'm just a massive facilitator in that space. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in commercial real estate by any means, but I know I know a little about a lot in this space. So with that and all that expertise, I had a lot of realtors coming to me asking for training, and I started speaking in front of real estate corporations and a lot of other events that have to do with things that we're all in, right? So many people are coming to me for social media branding and confidence specifically, and how to grow their brand, whether realtors wanted to have an extra 2 to 3 deals a month, whether they wanted to learn how to find their right niche. They didn't have the confidence to reach out to people, ask for the business. And I started coaching realtors. Now that's turned into entrepreneurs and leaders all over. I'm a keynote speaker on social media branding and confidence, how to effectively have clients coming to you instead of chasing clients. And my program's called Burnout to Brilliance. So I mostly do group coaching. I also work with individuals. I work with solopreneurs all the way up to large businesses. And I'm writing a book called Burnout to Brilliance as well, specifically for people really between like 40 and 60 that are trying to do something new. For me, I was super successful in real estate. And I thought, am I going to do this until I'm 80 years old? Like, how do I get off this hamster wheel, right? It's hard to step off of something when it's bringing you in all of your income, but you know you're meant for more and you know you want to do something else. And so that's why I created my program. Is I was burnt out, not because I didn't have any money, not because I hated my 9 to 5 like some people out there, but I was like, where do I really find what drives me? Because at that point I was just, on that never ending hamster wheel. And so many people feel that way, whether it's their 9 to 5 or whether they're trying to get an idea off the ground. So I do a lot of digital marketing, a lot of affiliate marketing. I am a paid partner with Go High Level and a lot of other brands out there. So I teach people how to monetize every little thing that you use, everything you purchase from. There's a way to make money off of it. So I teach a lot in digital marketing. I have several courses that I've created myself. So I do a lot, and real estate's always been my main core. So I'm happy to be here. It's great to spend some time with Jim over the weekend, and thanks for having me. I can help you with anything. Let me know. You're on mute, Jim.
This is what I love, because when you connect, you show up, you collaborate, you find the best of best. And from learning this business from the start, finding the right mentor, creating success, building your business, and we all hit there. We get burnt out. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm consumed by my business. I'm making a ton of money, but I need to keep it going and running on the hamster wheel. Otherwise, nothing goes. And you're just adding more zeros to everything. To, as Dana was saying, building sustainable business. But we hope within the group and our friendships to create a very high level mastermind group that people will want to pay. And we are looking at companies and organizations about how to use AI, plug it into their business, how to create, as you can sometimes see, build funds, develop properties, turn things around, teach people how to do this. There is a huge need right now to learn all these skill sets, to consult, or a group of people as you build the business, so you can plug in all these leaders into these companies, because a lot of times it does start with the relationship. If you have a good relationship and trust, they'll trust you to bring in the right team. You don't need to do it all. One thing is, I think with Dana and everyone here, Blair, Michael, everyone, you leverage your group and you have the trusted people and they have to trust you so you can bring in the rest of the team to help them solve the problem. And this is what we're trying to do for everyone, is from the very beginning, because we all were new agents, to grow, make some commissions, buy some buildings, buy some businesses, grow to the next level, or grow your brokerage business. And you just keep evolving to a point where, as Dana says, you don't want to be burnt out because your business can run you. And we all know that, we've all been there, to have something sustainable to build cash flow, passive income. And this is what this group will do. And you'll see from the very early on of education and knowledge to leveraging and helping people win business and scale to the point of financial freedom so you can play it forward, give back, make a difference. I think that's what everyone wants. And as a lot of our friends spend time with the family, kids, take care of your health, right? Because it is important not to forget that. I'd love to open this up to everyone else before we close out. Does anyone have any questions for Blair, Michael, or even Dana? As I'm very happy you're here, Dana.
Michael, how you doing? How you doing, Jim's Master? Charleston, South Carolina.
Nice to
I
see you
got a
again, Master. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just talking with someone, a few colleagues a few days ago. So I don't know if they showed up to join this platform, but I did mention you, Michael. So hopefully someone will reach out to you for guidance because she's like on the fence on she wants to get into commercial real estate, but she's very sharp. I just think she just needs guidance, the right guidance on the next step to take. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Master, we're going to see you tonight at the holiday party.
Unfortunately, no. Not, was it in North Carolina?
Yeah, it's in Charlotte. I need
No,
someone
no,
to
no.
buy me drinks.
Well, maybe if Dana can make it.
Yeah, maybe Dana can buy
just,
me drinks.
just
I'm
name
just
drop
kidding.
with me
I
and
wish
Ari.
I knew about it sooner. I would have made a point to go, but unfortunately I can't tonight. But next, Michael, we'll have to meet. We'll have to meet in person and have lunch or something.
Yes, I definitely want to meet up with you, Dana.
This is the exciting thing. On my last call, somebody from Atlanta, we connected with Paul Danks, who was SIOR president. He and she wanted to be SIOR. She had everything done. She just needed some recommendations. And now this lady from Atlanta connected when we had the discussion globally in Europe. So she just showed up to the meeting. We connected. Now she has a friend or somebody to write recommendations. But you're going to see with this group that we're going to launch, from the education to all of the different commercial trade groups like Blair. He's a leader. I think, well, I know Blair was there at SIOR before it was SIOR. As you can see, it was SOR, but they added the I. And Michael has been, at NAR commercial, at NAR, doing a lot of stuff at the state. Everyone here, I know Max, CCIM, many of people here are part of so many different trade groups. Through this education and connection, we're going to bring it all together so you can really build as if we did it again. How are you building your commercial real estate business from scratch? How you can have a referral system, because you may not want to do it, but you should know enough to not get yourself into too much trouble or any trouble, so you can refer to still get paid or collaborate. And this is what we're going to build, is to have knowledge, have mentors, have the tech so you can connect to whether it's co-listing or just straight referrals, because no one in this group has all specialties of transaction, leasing, business brokerage, capital markets, property management, just so many services. And maybe Scott, you want to say a couple words on asset property management? Because that is the most litigious. No one should have trust accounts unless you have good bookkeepers, because you're going to get in trouble with the state, right? With anything in property management. Scott, if you don't mind sharing something.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, of course, property. Yeah, having hundreds of trust accounts under your license is always an exciting time. Nothing quite like that to keep every day exciting. No, I mean, look, obviously I love the asset management, property management space. I'm based out of San Diego and LA. So always happy to help anybody in those areas. And then we're branching out and creating a property management referral network across the United States and in the major cities. So If you work with any great management companies, let me know. Always trying to find them out there and prefer to get them from referrals. So that's one thing we're doing. But look, I am a strong believer. I started out in the asset management space and moved into brokerage, which is maybe a little different for some people. But I use property management as my way to talk to these owners, and because it's such an easy way in. You're doing nothing but helping them. You're giving them rent surveys, and you're helping them on the physical aspects of the property. And there's so many positive ways that you can use property management without just, do you want to buy or sell? So I'm a big proponent of using property management for, furthering your brokerage business, besides all of the networking and stuff. Obviously, you got to work with management companies that won't retrade your client. That's a biggie. But anyway, so that's what I've got going on. Always happy to help, always here as a resource, definitely on the asset management side. And again, if you do have any property management companies that you like that you work with, let me know. I'm right there.
Scott, Masters wanted to link. Oh, you have questions. Go ahead, Blair and Michael.
Sorry, just real quick. Scott, are you familiar with national, or can people reach out to you for any state with advice?
We are, yeah. I mean, in general, obviously, if it's state specific or state laws, I won't answer anything legal. But if it's just a kind of a general question of how to, especially even, how to work with management companies, what to ask them when you're interviewing them. I mean, I used to, I used to encourage the brokers to give me their CoStar reports or whatever marketing, valuation reports, leasing reports, because what I'd always tell them is the owners are going to see 100% of what I give them. If you as a broker send out a mailer in whatever form to these clients, even your favorite clients, you're only going to read so many, right? They probably either have the information or they get it from a lot of other brokers. So, but with me, they get their operating report, they get your report, and they get the financial report. And I guarantee you they're going to see your report because they're going to go through that. So, and their CPA probably will also see it, and other people in their office may see it as well. So general questions and things, absolutely, Michael. And I think I'm always open. I was thinking I might reach out to you anyway, Michael, because I really think there's a value in the courses of how to use property management to get more business. And it's such a great way in with the clients.
Thank you, Scott. And please share your information because, as you can see, he has a CPM, part of IREM, Institute of Real Estate Management. He is in the commercial and he's been part of the residential property management, 30 years asset management and property management, a long time. So this network, we have specialists, experts, all collaborating, sharing. And this is what we're going to be bringing to Top Agent Nation Commercial Wednesdays, in addition to working with Renaissance and other global firms. It is very exciting as we are working as one big group, as many people were friends for decades. Blair and Michael, final words? Blair?
No, I don't. I think I've shared about all I can for the moment. I'm available if anybody wants to reach out, ask any questions. Feel free to get in touch with me. I'm easy to contact. It's blair.gilbert@expcommercial.com.
Thank you, Blair. And please connect if you want to be mentored or need a mentor or want to be a mentor. April, go ahead.
Yeah, so it was mentioned, and thank you, Jim, about the mentor, looking for the mentors, and Blair, the way you're matching them up. Is there a form that one completes that assists you with making the match up? Or is it just a conversation being held with you?
Blair, that was at you.
Yeah, I was asking, is there a form that one completes to get on your radar, providing information as far as what it is they're looking to do, what their interests are, what their language is as far as how they interact with people? What is the process that you're using for matching up mentors and mentees? Do you have a form to complete, for us to complete, or are you it's just reaching out to you by way of phone, is my question.
What is the process? Decades of being involved face to face with people.
Okay.
So
It
April,
really is.
Yeah.
It's,
So I could
it's
create a
experience. I
form
mean,
for you to make it easier for you.
Eh,
We'll talk
yeah,
offline.
April is fantastic,
I
Blair, to
just
help out.
ask
I
a
think
lot of questions.
she just volunteered to build you a system, but no, Blair has he has the gut feeling. He knows what works, what doesn't. But April, reach out to Blair. I know your skill sets of what you can do, and you've done it for a lot of trade groups too. So thank you for volunteering. So again, thank you so much for joining us on Top Agent Nation Commercial Wednesdays. We are going to start putting and posting the educational format so everyone can see sharing technology, ways of you can plug in, whether you want to learn this business, specific product types, specific services, ways of sending referrals, not just within a certain company, but around the world. You're going to see a lot of contracts and agreements all being put together, how to use the tech, how to learn, how to pass deals, and play on a global basis for commercial real estate, but also in residential because the referrals go back and forth. So very excited. Thank you for everyone for showing up. Look forward to seeing everyone next Wednesday again. And please show up, Top Agent Nation Commercial Wednesdays, or joining Renaissance. And we'll see everyone next week. Thank you so much, everyone.
Guys, take
Have
care.
a great day.
See you soon.
So long.